If that don't work, I don't know what it is. Anyway, bear with me, y'all. I know I look like complete trash. I'm about to go ahead in the shower. I just decided I was gonna make this video real quick for y'all. Um, so yeah, before I head in, let me just give you guys a few little notes and tips. This is gonna be a different one. Ugh. This is gonna be a difficult one. I decided I had to make this video for you guys today. Hopefully, it's not too loud for you guys. Hoping not. Tried my best with the audio to make sure it sounded great. And let me actually just double check this audio. Yep, looks like it's sounding great to me. And I believe I have. There we go. So hopefully that should be working very great. Um, Anywho, I have a tablet with me just to help me out a little bit today. But today's video is going to be 6 reasons why flatbed probably isn't for you. So we're going to just dive into a few little things, and it's just a little bit quieter in the trailer, ironically, than it is in the truck. But like I said, I'm going to be using this iPad to kind of just help me go over some of the stuff. Um, we're going to just start here with number one reason why flatbed probably isn't for you. Um, that's going to be uh, you're not 100% willing to take responsibility for your load. Now I know that sounds weird because you're thinking uh, like if something goes wrong, it should be the company's responsibility, right? That's not what I mean. Um, what I mean by you don't take 100% responsibility for your load is I'm hearing all the time these guys say, um, the forklift driver, they loaded me how they loaded me. There's nothing I can do about it. They loaded me like this. They loaded me like that. I couldn't tell them anything. That's false, right? I haven't been out here flatbedding, years and years. Only just got into it. But the one thing I know since I've been flatbedding is every place I've gone to so far, I've directed how I wanted my load. Like if you take a look at this load here, it's very center of my trailer, right? Now, Alcoa is not one of those places that they ask you where the load wants to be. And I know that's what a lot of people are probably talking about when they say that they don't get to say, have an input on where their load goes. But you do, in fact. Like, again, Alcoa just came and they put that on my trailer. Well, they put that in the middle because without speaking to them, I told them where I wanted it. Me putting my dunnage and my coil racks and everything down there was my way of telling them that's where I want the load. Now, if I put it right up here, that's where they would have put it because they would have assumed for some reason I wanted it this close to my truck. If I put it further back, they would have assumed the same thing. So that's where it comes into taking 100% responsibility for your load because you're the driver, you're the one who has to deal with DOT. So at the end of the day, if you go, if I were to have this all the way loaded here and all that weight is on my drives, when I get down the road to DOT, they're not going to say, "Oh, let me get the forklift numbers, the forklift driver's number." They're going to say, "Cool, you sit here until you figure that out." And that's what I mean with taking 100% responsibility is simply telling them like they're not gonna throw you out of their warehouse because you tell them that's not where I want it. There's been situations where I've even had to tell forklift driver, hey, that's not exactly how I wanted it. It's shifted or whatever the case may be. Can you pick that back up? Let me adjust it, put it right back down. All right. Every place I've gone, even with palletized loads, they're looking at me to tell them exactly how I want it on this trailer between this line here and this line here. They're staring at me the whole time, and I'll tell them when to drop it, how to put it, to come forward, come back. You got to take 100% responsibility of your own load, right? So that's one of the things. The second thing we got here is if you're a lazy driver, right? Um, if you've come from dry van or reefer, open deck, any type of open deck, whether it be flatbed, RGN, car hauling, and pretty much every other field besides dry van and reefer in the trucking industry is a very active, a very physical laboring industry. So, for example, this here, I had to put on, I believe it's 4 chains. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. 4 chains with 2 straps, right? While I was doing that, I was sweating. It's not only that I have other truckers behind me that was probably ready to go, I had truckers in front of me that was also ready to go, and I'm on the time crunch. Now, I could have always waited, put on 1 chain as Arconic recommends, and then just gone outside and finish chaining up. But I wanted to make sure all this stuff was done. It was a rain, a pretty bad pour, and even though I have the curtains, I still want to make sure I got all this done before I headed back outside. And that was very physical laboring. Um, and a lot of this stuff is, whether it comes to just chains or dealing with straps, you're going to need to be someone who's willing and able to be physically a little bit more fit. Now, this is nothing to do with the size of you. I've seen very skinny, small women do it. I've seen very big, fat guys, so to speak, do it. So it doesn't really matter the size of your body. It just matters on your personality and whether you're willing to get out there and do the job. If you're not willing to get out here and be active, and you're willing to slack, flatbed probably isn't going to be for you. And that's going to go into one of the other topics I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. Number 3, it's probably a little controversial, and I don't mean it to come off any type of way. Number 3 is, if English isn't your native language, so if you don't primarily speak English, or you have trouble communicating in English, or you don't even speak it at all, um, sorry to tell you, flatbed is probably not going to be the job for you. I say that to say there's a lot of places in trucking where we'll have paperwork and things like that that are translated between languages, but oftentimes people in these warehouses do not speak many other languages. And the time it'll take them to find someone who does is going to be slim to none in these places where they're in a rush pace. It's not saying that you shouldn't go for it at all. If you have trouble speaking in English, or if you don't speak it at all, I'm sure there can be some accommodations made. I'm just saying, in the long run, it's probably not going to be for you. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of places we've gone to where they're very fast paced, and they're trying to just tell you this, and they expect you to know it. And having to deal with that communication barrier is going to take up too much time for them. What they're going to end up doing, in all honesty, they're going to tell you, go sit over there while we get this figured out, and you're going to watch as 5 to 10 other drivers that were behind you go right ahead of you. It's just how it is in this industry. Again, that's not saying that you can't do it. It's just saying it's going to be very difficult for you guys who aren't native English speakers. Hell, you probably even have a better chance if you're a Spanish speaker. Um, well, there's going to be a lot of warehouse where there might be 1 or 2 or 3 Spanish speakers, especially in the higher up positions, that can translate these things for you and get things figured out, especially in the security positions. But I've seen time and time again where people who aren't native English speakers, they'll come in, they'll try to communicate, and both security guards, both warehouse and drivers are frustrated because they're not getting what they expect between each other pretty well. So that's going to be the third one for there. Here we're going to have the fourth one. Uh, Fourth one is very personal to me. Um, Flatbed is not going to be for you, or any type of open deck is not going to be for you if you're a person who likes to rush things. I know you might see some drivers out here, they can get this done in a matter of seconds, but that comes with years and years of experience. If you're a person who likes to rush, you like to get down the road because you think you got to make money faster, this probably isn't for you. At the end of the day, with flatbed, there's not probably anybody out there who's serious about flatbed that doesn't prioritize safety. Um, and so if you're one of those people who you want to do the bare minimum so you can get down the road, this ain't for you. Um, it's one of those jobs where you really do got to care about people's lives out there, your own and other people. I know you guys can't see it, but you've probably seen in a lot of videos where my chains and everything sets up back there is kind of my trailer's headache rack. I don't have one on the truck, but a lot of truckers, a lot of flatbedders do. And with that being said, those headache racks, don't let them fool you. Those headache racks ain't crap. They are made out of cheap aluminum, and if this broke loose, it's coming right through every single piece of that. So you got to be one of those drivers who are willing to go above and beyond when it comes to safety. Company policy for us is whatever the set amount of change that's needed to cover the weight plus one. A lot of drivers don't care to do that. Honestly, I'm one of those drivers. I'll put an extra one or extra two if I need it. Right now, this coil only needed three. It has four on it. And then we have the X strap. Now, the X strap is probably not going to do a whole lot for safety, but it's a company policy, and it sure as hell makes me feel a lot more secure having that on there. So I don't have a problem with it. But if you're one of those people who you like to rush and you don't like to take your time to do things the correct way, flatbedding is definitely not going to be for you. You're going to have a lot of people out here telling you that you're doing it wrong, that you're screwing up, and you should probably go to a whole nother field of trucking. Now, this isn't to say again for new drivers that you have to go extremely slow or that everything you do is going to be scrutinized. It's just to say take your time, be willing to ask questions, ask other drivers, hey, am I doing this right? um, is this something how you would do it? Just take the time to ask and make sure you're doing everything right. Call companies, look up your handbooks, and make sure everything you're doing is the right way and the safe way to do so for you and everybody else out there on the road. So that's just that one there. Um, Fifth one, I've seen this one a lot, is if you're the type of person who has problems with company and warehouse policies and rules. We all have issues with how things are run in a lot of places all the time. Believe me, I've had a few moments where I've had to choose my battles on certain policies. Um, but flatbed is definitely going to be not going to be for you if every single policy is bothersome to you. For example, right now I'm dressed how I'm dressed because I'm chilling for the night. Normally, if I have it, I'll be dressed in some jeans, boots on, hard hat, and my high vis vest as I'm going into these warehouses. That's company policy, and I kind of get to slide in a lot of places because I have glasses. Not a lot of safety glasses gonna fit over mine, and if I had to choose these between safety glasses, I'd be blind. So a lot of them are gonna let that slide because these are still considered protection enough. But I've seen guys not willing to choose their battles when it comes to company policies. And their rules and how they see things. A lot of these places only have these rules to keep themselves and you safe. They do not want to deal with lawsuits. So if you're a person who every little company policy and everything is going to bother you, this is probably not it. I say that to say at least 60% of these facilities are all owned by each other or all owned by one company. Take, for example, Alcoa. Both the place I picked up at, both the place I'm delivered to, two states probably 500-600 miles away, both owned by the same person. So if I went to go pick up this load and for any reason before I left that facility I got banned, I wouldn't even be able to step foot on that drop off. They'd have to swap this load with another driver. It's really not worth it. At the end of the day, you got to think of the bigger picture, and fighting over some little thing like having to actually go put on boots, having to go put on a vest, having to put on long sleeves is definitely not worth it. Believe me, I try not to wear these shoes normally when I'm flatbedding if I don't have to, because I've had my own chain drop on my foot way too many times, and even though it didn't hurt that much, it still hurts. It's not a very good feeling. You got to deal with driving with your feet all day. It doesn't feel very good. Um, so you got to be willing and open to just temporarily accept these policies and these rules, so that way you can get the job done. But that's pretty much it, really, for that one. The last but not least, and this kind of goes for more than just flatbed. It's kind of the whole industry here. Is if you're someone who's rude, disrespectful, and kind of a know-it-all, flatbed ain't gonna be for you. I already said this earlier. We're not willing to take criticism and construction in flatbed. This ain't it. There's always gonna be drivers in this industry who've been doing it way longer and know it way more than every single one of us. You hear it all the time. The minute you think you know too much in trucking, give up your keys and stop trucking. Give up your keys and your CDL. You got to really be able to take criticism and take instruction in this job. Uh, Even as long as I've been trucking in general every single day, I'll still listen to any driver who's been doing it longer than me and has something um, critical that I need to hear. If it wasn't for other drivers who knew better than me, I'd still be in training trying to figure this crap out. And now I feel like I'm a lot more confident because I listen to those drivers. But also the rudeness. As I already said, a lot of these places, 60% of these places are owned by one another. You get banned by one, you get banned by all. It doesn't take much to be a polite person, and you're not going to get a very long way in flatbed. It's not like drive-in. You just drop your trailer and hook, or somebody else can drop the trailer and hook. Like I said, everything about flatbed is determined on how you go about it. If you're rude to a place, chances are the next time, if they don't ban you, the next time you go there, they're going to treat you just like it. You're going to be behind the line. You'll be the first person in. You're going to be the last to be loaded. Doesn't matter. I'll say politeness does get you a long way in flatbed industry. I've had more places where just being polite and kind, they've treated me a little bit better. Probably got me in and out a little bit faster than some other people because they recognize that I can't say there's a little bit of favoritism maybe, but they recognize people who have respect and treat them with respect. You understand these people come to do their job the same way we do. Um, and so be willing to listen. I think that goes back to the criticism, the construction thing. Um, don't ever think because the person doesn't work the job that we do that they can't give you any insight. Um, there's people who've done car hauling their whole life and they never done flatbed, but they might know a little bit of insight about weight distribution that I may have not known. And that helps me out. And it goes the same way for these warehouse people. Don't think just because they don't drive a flatbed truck that they can't tell you a proper way that you need to load your load. They've spoken to money drivers who've been doing this way before some of you were even born. Um, they've loaded tons of trailers a certain way. So if you're someone who may not think you know how to do it or you're not confident you're doing it well, don't be afraid to ask even people at the warehouse, the loaders, like, hey, how do you see guys normally do this? And take that criticism very well. Because it's going to be one of those situations where you want to be a jerk about it, and the next time you may actually need that help, and they're not going to offer it because you were rude at one point. So just be kind to other people, and they'll get you very far in trucking. As far as I can think about, though, I'm pretty sure that those are the only things I could come with. As far as 6 reasons why you probably shouldn't be trucking, or probably shouldn't be flatbedding. Again, you don't necessarily have to take everything I've said so far as a discouragement. Everybody changes, and the industry is always changing. There are other fields of flatbedding or open deck hauling that might, it might work for you and it might not. I've chosen Conestoga flatbed because it's just what I wanted. I didn't want to deal with tarping. There's a lot of people who don't want to deal with tarping, and there's very few companies that that deal without tarping or a Conestoga. Like, it's very rare unless you're an owner operator. You're gonna find a company who is an open deck and doesn't tarp. Um, Probably maybe like RGN, the low boys, those big heavy haulers you see. Even sometimes they still got to deal with a tarp. Um, uh, I could say maybe car hauling. There's a little bit of a different breed there. But even with car hauling, I'm learning very much myself as something I've been interested in a while. I've been thinking about doing that. There's a lot to that where you also have to take that criticism and take what people say. There's always going to be people who've been doing it longer than you that think that you're a complete newbie, no matter how long you've been doing it. So be willing to take that and brush it aside and listen to some of it, but maybe not all. Um, but yeah, I think that's going to be it for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and catch you on the next one.